Andy Boulton, congratulations. Back on the PDC tour once again, coming through Q School for, I believe, the third time in your career. What does it feel like to be back on the tour, back amongst the elite once again?
Yeah, yeah, very good. I made a big decision this time to try and get it back. I'm not getting any younger, so it became a big priority to give it a good go this time, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm pleased to be back. I've not been away much, to be fair. The last couple of years have been pretty kind to me, and I've had the best of both worlds, if you like. But yeah, it'd be nice just 100% focus on the tour, and we'll see how we go.
You said about sort of making that decision to go to Q School. I guess that's a decision that's now faced with all those players in those positions because of the everything that's on offer if you're not a tour card holder. Was it a difficult decision to sort of commit to going for that tour card?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the last 2 years have shown. When I first lost my tour card a couple of years ago, you start thinking, I'm one of the lucky guys to play the sport that I love professionally, sort of thing. And then when you lose your tour card, you think, how do I earn a living now? But the opportunities now outside the tour are massive. The Moda Super Series. I mean, I'm not so sure there's a better place to play darts. To be fair, it's everything about it's enjoyable. The throw's one of the best you'll ever throw on, and then the ADC come along, going from strength to strength. The seniors tour was about, but I never really had the opportunity to give that a good go, sort of thing, with everything being down south. Financial, the viability of it all didn't really make a lot of sense. And yeah, and the vault system has just got me back. Enjoy, I've met a lot of new people, just enjoying and compete. Yeah, that's something I'm going to miss. I think, because that was whereas I come down here and I have a couple of hours practice, and it can get a bit monotonous at times. Whereas the vault just kept you active. But yeah, as far as decisions, it was a massive decision. I've had a really good couple of years, um, and so it become. But the rewards are greater in the PDC, and it's where you want to be. And I've been playing a hell of a lot, so as busy as the tour will be, I won't be away from home as much, I don't think. And yeah, let's see where we end up.
I was going to say, obviously, when you're playing away from the tour, you've got all those things that you mentioned, along with the Challenge Tour, which you were obviously very successful on last year. Does it give you that extra little bit of breathing space, even though you're going to be going up against the best in the world, where you will have days where you'll be able to commit to that practice a bit more, and maybe just take a little bit more downtime?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the Challenge Tour, again, it's a great, but you go into under a lot of pressure, knowing that if you do well on the Challenge Tour, you can reap the benefits. And I've been quite lucky over the last couple of years to do that and sit there, high up on the order of merit, which I've been getting invites into the tour as well. Um, but yeah, I think the main thing is to try and keep that focus, to try and put all my eggs in the one basket, which for the last couple of years has been quite a few baskets and quite a lot of eggs, if you like. But the yeah, it's just focusing on and give it a I love the PDC. I love playing on the Pro Tour and everything about it. So and it'd been great to get back to it. And you start wondering if you'll never once they change the criteria for qualifying for the Euro tours and stuff. They're great things to be involved in, and the last couple of years I haven't even had an opportunity to even try and qualify for one. So yeah, to try and get to back to one of them would be a massive thing for me. Yeah.
I was going to mention that to you. That's obviously been a big thing over the last few days, the changing criteria. So the top 16 being automatically in those European tours, and then that top 16 on the Pro Tour Order of Merit. How difficult is that going to make it for, especially the guys that have come through Q School this year, just a few days ago, and the guys that are at the sort of the lower end, shall we say, of the Order of Merit? How is that going to change things and make things more difficult to sort of break that seal of the top 32 and possibly top 16?
Yeah, well, I hadn't seen that, to be fair. I mean, I know last year was a massive part where I went to Q school, and there was an even bigger bit of me that really wasn't bothered about getting my tour card back. The changing criteria last year, it was hard enough to qualify when we had whatever it was, 20 qualifiers or 24 qualifiers or something. But then when they knocked it down to 10, you know, for someone like myself, it was, like I say, if I qualified for maybe 5 or 6 Euro tours over a season when there was 24, it was difficult. It was, but you were kind of like happy with your season. You give yourself a shot at the European Championships, etc. Whereas once they changed that criterion, all of a sudden you're probably looking at 2 or 3 becomes a successful season, and obviously we all know that that's not the case. It's every year that I played this sport, unfortunately, as much as I put into it, the same guys will always get looked after, and I'm very vocal, in my opinion, to the PDPA and everything. And you just get shot down quite a lot, really, and your opinion really is kind of irrelevant in a way. They listen, but they don't really take anything on board or whatever. It is all. Look, I get it. The top guys, are the faces that the TV, but like the Euro Tour is something I think they've kind of spoilt a little bit. And if that's the case where you're saying the top 16 are going to be the 16 seeds now, then that's. I'm a guy that likes watching darts, but certainly the last year and a half, I don't think I've really watched the Euro Tour at all, really. And that's, but you're going to get the same faces playing it. The order of merit in the top 16 doesn't change a lot. So 1 and 16 and 7 and 9 or whatever, they're all gonna meet very regularly, and you're going to be watching the same games over and over and over again. And it's bad enough when you're watching the Premier League for me, week in, week out, same games. But if they think it's going to work, they think it's going to work. They don't do a lot wrong when, as far as promoting the sport works. But yeah, for me, obviously from the outside looking in, it's even going to be even harder for me. And that was a big decision for me last year. I didn't choose not to get a tour card, but yeah, there was definitely not the pressure on Q School like last year.
Yeah. If we just take things back to Milton Keynes itself, how nervous was that wait on the final day? Obviously, you went out maybe a bit earlier than you would have liked on that final day. Was it a bit of a nail biting one to make sure your name had gone dark green and you can confirm that card?
Yeah, it was. It was a nervy wait. Like I say, I really wanted it back. So, yeah, we left the venue. We jumped in the car, and every now and again, I would have I mean, it turned out, people were texting me before I even knew anyway. So, but yeah, it was. I played really well on the last day. It was. I put everything into it. I think a 92, a 95, a 97 or something. And, Jim Long, who knocked me out that day, played fantastic and, went on to win it outright, which was no surprise after the way he played against me. And, yeah, nervy wait, but yeah, relief, even though we still had probably about another 4 hours to drive. Yeah.
You mentioned some of the sort of numbers there, and you're obviously playing really good stuff. We mentioned the Challenge Tour last year, which you were really successful on. What do you think you can go on to achieve in the next 2 years? You've got that tour card.
Yeah, I think what I've learned quite a lot probably over the last 12 months is, I'm not getting any younger. So, it's about picking and choosing my time and, doing the right things, starting to eat a little bit better. And, preparation, I suppose, is the key. I think just, I'm saying, a lot. The, yeah, it's just doing the same thing. Doing things differently. I mean, preparation and looking after myself a little bit more. I think that's going to be a big key. And the one of the first things I said once I turned dark green was, I'm so looking forward not going to the Challenge Tour this weekend. The thought of the two tournaments in one day is just an absolute killer. And at the end of your weekend, you come home and you just kind of don't do anything for 2 days. It's like, so mentally tiring and stuff. And I mean, I was lucky enough to win back to back. I think it was last year in Germany, and you're in the venue at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I think I finished the final at something like 9:30 at night, and it's just like, it's just the most mentally challenging, for a dart player. The two in one day, it's just, yeah. I was going to say soul destroying, but that's the wrong word. But yeah, you don't, I won the two tournaments, and you can't even kind of celebrate. You just want to go home, get something to eat, and go to bed.
I can't blame you at all there.
Yeah.
You mentioned about it being sort of a young man's game at the moment. We obviously saw just a few weeks ago Luke Littler lift the world title. You're obviously in the same management as Luke and been keeping an eye on him for probably a lot longer than some of the players that are now seeing him grow. Would you have predicted this 2 or 3 years ago?
No, I don't think anybody would have predicted it, to be fair. I mean, I played Luke in the final of the Gibraltar Open. I was there with my boy for the JDC World Championships, which was only, a month before he played at Ali Pali or whatever, the first time round. And, he beat me in the final, but you'd have never thought. The draw first time round, we said, he could do all right, like a last 32 or something. But yeah, to go on and do what he's done, and how he handles the pressure, I think is a massive thing. I think he felt it a little bit in the Ryan Meikle game, the first one. I think that showed how much pressure he was kind of under. But I think once he won that game, it was a little bit of a sigh of relief, and he never really looked back then, did he? But yeah, I mean, I got the NADA, which is the North Ayrshire Darts Academy, and the numbers are just crazy. They're waiting, there's a waiting list, and I see, Carl at St. Helens, Carl Holden, he put, I think he had 90 odd this week, and he's got 70 on the waiting list or something. I mean, what he's done for the sport is just phenomenal, and the future's looking brighter than ever. But I don't think anybody could have predicted it. I bet you Barry Hearn's rubbing his hands about it though.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah, for sure.
As a man that's been on the tour 10 years, is there anything that you can still teach someone like Luke Littler?
I don't know really. I mean, he's very hard to know. He's going to come. You would think there's going to come a time where things are not going to go his way so much, but I think he deals with everything. Even like this season, he went so many majors without winning his first round match, and then they're like, "Oh, he's not coping so well," and then he went to the Grand Slam and smashed it, kind of thing. So he's had a few setbacks and dealt with them easily enough. He's got good people around him, and yeah, I mean, I know what he goes through. I hear stories about the media and this, that, the other, and how he deals with it is, I think, it's phenomenal. And I'm pretty sure that I'd be a little bit more vocal about things if people were treating me that way. But I suppose that's the business. I don't suppose he knows any different really. He's come in at a young age and straight away he's thrust into it, and as long as the right people look after him, then hopefully he won't need an old guy like me telling him any tactics or anything for the future.
Brilliant. Really appreciate the time, Andy, and best of luck over the next couple of years and with the events coming up.
No problem, mate. Thanks very much, pal. No problem at all.